Dr. Zyra was known across the galaxy as the greatest alien doctor of her time. She had studied the biology of hundreds of species, from the ice-blooded Seraph to the fire-breathing Zern, and nothing surprised her anymore. At least that's what she thought. One quiet morning on the medical station orbiting Varnes 5, Zyra received a sealed message marked confidential for expert eyes only. She opened it, and her large purple eyes widened. The report inside came from a far-off mining colony, deep in the human sector. It told the story of one human male who had been living with 3 alien females for over a year, and somehow he was still healthy, strong, and active. This was impossible. Every species she knew had limits. Most males could only mate a few times before needing days or weeks to recover. Too much activity could injure them, even make them infertile. But the human in the report, he was mating every single day, 365 days in a year, without breaking his tool or exhausting himself. Zyra frowned and read the lines again, certain she had misunderstood. But the details were clear. The alien females reported no injury, no weakness, only satisfaction. The human's health scans showed perfect results. His muscles were strong, his heart rate normal, and his energy levels beyond belief. She leaned back in her chair, tapping her clawed fingers against the desk. "This has to be false data," she muttered. But the report came from a trusted medical officer, one who had never been wrong before. The galaxy already whispered strange rumors about humans, calling them deathworlders, with impossible endurance and dangerous passion. Zyra had dismissed these as myths. Now she wasn't so sure. Her mind began racing. If this report was true, humans might have a unique biological advantage. Such an ability could make them highly valuable and highly dangerous in interspecies relations. Governments might want them. Criminal syndicates might try to capture them. Wars had been started over less. She had to know the truth. Zyra stood up from her desk, her long coat sweeping the floor. She activated the station's transport console and booked immediate passage to Earth. If this human ability was real, she needed to study it herself. Not from a report, not from secondhand stories, but from direct observation. As her ship prepared to leave, she imagined what kind of creature could possess such strength and recovery. Were humans hiding some kind of advanced healing technology? Was it genetic? Or something darker? Some instinct buried deep in their primal nature? The more she thought about it, the more uneasy she felt. In the medical world, there were discoveries, and there were dangerous truths, and she had the sinking feeling that what she was about to uncover would change the galaxy forever. The journey to Earth took 4 days. Dr. Zyra spent every hour preparing her equipment, scanners, analyzers, and a portable medical lab. If humans truly had this strange ability, she would prove it with science. When she arrived, the planet surprised her. She had expected a cold, dangerous world filled with warlike creatures. Instead, she found green forests, blue oceans, and cities buzzing with life. Still, she reminded herself even beautiful planets could hide dangerous predators. Her contact on Earth, a merchant named Harris, agreed to help her find a volunteer. "I know a man," he said with a smirk. "And if the rumors are true, he's exactly the kind of subject you're looking for." That was how Zyra met Jack. He was a tall human with sun-browned skin, strong arms, and eyes that seemed to study her just as much as she studied him. He wore simple work clothes, and his hands were rough from labor. Yet, there was an easy confidence in his smile, as if nothing could surprise or scare him. "You must be the alien doctor," he said. "And you want to know our secret?" Zyra kept her voice professional. "Yes, I wish to understand how a human male can maintain activity for so long without harm." Jack chuckled. "Simple. We're built for it." That answer made no sense. Muscles wore down. Energy ran out. The body always needed rest. "I will require tests," Zyra said, holding up her scanner. Jack didn't argue. For 3 days, Zyra followed him everywhere. She tracked his heart rate while he worked in the fields, measured his muscle recovery while he carried heavy tools, and even scanned him while he slept. His results were unnatural. His body repaired itself faster than any species she had ever seen. But the strangest part wasn't the numbers, it was his attitude. Jack didn't treat her research with embarrassment or fear. In fact, he seemed amused by her curiosity. On the second day, he caught her watching him from behind a data screen and said, "You can't measure everything with a machine. Sometimes you have to experience it to understand." Zyra ignored the comment, though her cheeks felt warm. She told herself it was only because Earth's atmosphere was hotter than she was used to. On the third evening, Jack invited her to a local gathering. She observed how he moved through the crowd, relaxed, confident, and effortlessly charming. The alien doctor in her saw a perfect biological specimen. The woman in her was starting to understand why alien females in the report had been so satisfied. By the time the sun set, Zyra realized something important. This wasn't just about science anymore. If she wanted the truth, she would have to take the next step. Dr. Zyra knew that field scans and numbers were not enough. To confirm her theory, she needed a controlled experiment, and the test had to involve other species. Only then could she measure how a human's endurance worked across different alien bodies. Through her contacts, she arranged for 3 volunteers to join her on her research vessel. Each was from a very different species. The first was Lisha, a tall, silver-skinned beauty from the Mirani system, known for their agility but fragile stamina. The second was Rel, a strong, red-scaled warrior from the Tarsk clans, famous for outlasting most species in physical contests. The third was Kira, a small, cat-like alien from the Falera world, quick and playful, but easily tired. When Jack boarded the ship, he looked at them with a grin. "This is your experiment?" he asked. "Yes," Zyra said, trying to sound calm. "The purpose is to observe interaction and recovery rates. You will be in a safe and private environment. I will monitor health, muscle strain, and other data." Jack's grin widened. "No machines, right? Just natural conditions?" Zyra hesitated. "Correct. But I will be recording from the control room." The 3 alien women were curious but cautious. They had heard rumors about humans but didn't believe them fully. Still, they agreed to begin the tests that night. At first, Zyra expected it to be slow, a few hours at most. But within the first hour, the control room began picking up unusual readings. Jack's heart rate stayed steady. His oxygen levels didn't drop the way most males would. The alien women showed signs of strain, yet Jack seemed completely fine. By the third hour, Zyra's scientific focus was starting to blur. The ship's sensors detected laughter, voices, and even playful sounds from the lab. The alien doctor in her wanted to record the data. The curious female in her wanted to understand why he wasn't slowing down. After 6 hours, Zyra was forced to stop the session for the women's safety. Lisha was too tired to stand. Rel, the warrior, admitted she had never met anyone who could outlast her. Kira simply curled up on a couch and fell asleep with a faint smile. Jack, on the other hand, walked into the control room as if nothing had happened. "So, doctor," he said, "do you believe the rumors now?" Zyra didn't answer. Her hands trembled slightly as she looked at the data. Muscle recovery rates off the charts, hormone levels perfectly balanced, no sign of exhaustion. This was no myth. Humans truly had an unmatched gift. But the more she studied Jack, the more she realized something dangerous. If the galaxy learned about this, humans would become the most hunted species in the universe. Dr. Zyra wanted to keep the results secret. She planned to file a locked report to the medical council and then quietly send Jack back to Earth. But the galaxy had other plans. The problem started when one of her ship's crew overheard the 3 alien women talking in the lounge. Lisha was bragging that no man in her species could match Jack's stamina. Rel admitted that even the strongest warriors on Tarsk would collapse in half the time. Kira simply purred and said, "He could keep going forever." By the next morning, half the crew knew. By the end of the week, it was no longer just a ship rumor. It had reached nearby space stations. Alien merchants whispered about the endless human. Miners laughed over drinks, saying humans must be part machine. Space pirates joked about capturing one and selling him to the highest bidder. But not all who heard were laughing. Zyra began receiving encrypted messages from wealthy alien nobles, offering huge amounts of credits to study Jack. Some hinted at private ownership, others at royal breeding programs. The most disturbing message came from the warlord Karath of the Black Fang Syndicate. "I will pay any price for this human," the message read. "If you refuse, I will take him by force." Zyra's stomach tightened. She knew what that meant. If Karath wanted something, he wouldn't stop until he had it, and he didn't care how many ships he destroyed along the way. Jack, however, didn't seem worried. When she told him about the offers and threats, he just leaned back in his chair and grinned. "Guess the secret's out, huh? Can't say I'm surprised. You can't hide the sun. Document." "This is not a joke," Zyra said sharply. "If Karath catches you, you'll be nothing more than a prize in his collection. He will use you until you—" Jack cut her off. "Until I break? That's not going to happen." That night, Zyra called an emergency meeting with the crew. She wanted to change course and return to safe space. But before they could leave, sensors detected 3 ships closing in, all marked with the Black Fang insignia. The crew panicked, but Jack stood at the viewport, watching the ships approach with calm eyes. "If he wants a test," Jack said, "I'll give him one." Zyra stared at him. "You don't understand. Karath is not coming for a conversation." Jack turned his head and smiled. "Neither am I." At that moment, Zyra realized something. Jack wasn't just a human with incredible stamina. He was also the most dangerously confident man she had ever met. And Karath was about to find that out the hard way. The Black Fang ships surrounded Zyra's vessel like hungry predators. Their dark hulls shimmered with stolen armor plating, and their weapons hummed with deadly energy. The crew knew there was no escape. Karatha's voice came over the comms, deep and commanding. "Alien doctor, hand over the human. Now." No negotiation. Zyra tried to buy time. "He is a research subject, not property. The medical council will." "The council is nothing to me," Karath interrupted. "I have heard the stories. The human strength, his endurance. I want it. And if you do not give him willingly, I will take him." Before Zyra could respond, Jack stepped in front of the console. "Tell him I accept his challenge." "Challenge?" Zyra whispered. Jack smiled. "Let's see if his warriors are as tough as their reputation." Karath laughed through the speakers. "You are either brave or stupid, human. My men will test you. If you last longer than they can, you go free. If not, you belong to me." Minutes later, the airlock opened. 3 of Karatha's soldiers stepped inside. They were massive, covered in battle scars, each one stronger than most alien fighters Zyra had ever seen. The test began. From the control room, Zyra watched the data feed. At first, the fight was purely physical, grappling, strikes, testing each other's strength. But as the hours passed, something strange happened. The soldiers began slowing down. Their movements became clumsy. Their breathing grew heavy. Jack, on the other hand, moved with the same energy as when he started. His heart rate stayed steady. His muscles showed no signs of fatigue, and his expression carried the same confident grin. By the 4th hour, the first soldier collapsed. By the 6th, the second was out cold. The last one refused to admit defeat, until Jack calmly stepped aside and let the exhausted alien fall to the floor. Karatha's face appeared on the main screen, his eyes narrowing. He was not angry, he was fascinated. "You are more than the rumors," he said slowly. "I will not take you today. But one day, human, we will meet again." The Black Fang ships withdrew, but Zyra knew this wasn't the end. Karath had seen something in Jack that he wanted, and men like him never forgot. As the crew celebrated their narrow escape, Zyra pulled Jack aside. "Do you understand what you just did? You made him want you even more." Jack shrugged. "Good. Keeps life interesting." Zyra sighed. She had started this as a scientific study. Now it was turning into something far more dangerous, and she wasn't sure if she wanted to stop it. After the Black Fang encounter, Dr. Zyra doubled her efforts. She had to know the truth, not just for science, but because she realized Jack's ability was more dangerous than any weapon. She moved him into the medical bay for a full 72-hour analysis. Every muscle fiber, every nerve reaction, every drop of blood was studied. Jack allowed it, though he teased her constantly. "Careful, Doc," he said with a smirk. "You might fall for your test subject." Zyra ignored him, mostly. She stayed focused, reviewing streams of data on glowing screens. What she saw left her speechless. Human muscles didn't break down the way other species did. Microscopic damage healed within hours, not days. Their hormone balance kept energy levels stable even after extreme exertion. And their brain chemistry released controlled doses of pleasure and adrenaline, pushing them to keep going far beyond normal limits. But the most shocking discovery wasn't physical. It was psychological. Humans had an unshakable drive, a refusal to quit, that no scan could fully explain. Even when exhausted, they pushed forward, powered by stubborn determination and a strange joy in the challenge. Zyra recorded her findings, knowing this report would shake the galaxy. But she also knew releasing it could start a storm. Governments would want humans as breeding stock. Criminal syndicates would hunt them like rare animals. Even peaceful worlds might try to preserve them in golden cages. As she worked late into the night, Jack appeared in the doorway. "So, Doc," he said, "what's the verdict? Am I a freak of nature?" She met his eyes. "You are a miracle of evolution, and if the galaxy finds out, you will never be free again." Jack's smile faded slightly, but then returned. "Then I guess it's our little secret." Zyra hesitated. She wasn't sure if she was protecting him for scientific reasons, or for personal ones. Over the weeks, she had grown used to his voice, his calm under pressure, his way of making danger feel like an adventure. But the truth weighed on her. Even if they kept quiet, rumors had already spread. Karath wouldn't be the only one looking. The galaxy was vast, and word traveled faster than light. That night, Zyra locked the research files in her most secure data vault. Only she and Jack knew the full truth now. She told herself it was for safety, but deep down, she wondered if she had just tied her fate to his. Jack seemed to sense her thoughts. "Don't worry, document whatever comes, we'll handle it." She almost believed him. Almost. Weeks passed, and Dr. Zyra kept the research locked away, hoping the rumors would fade. But in the galaxy, legends had a life of their own. Stories about the human who never tired spread from mining colonies to royal courts. Some claimed he was a machine in human skin. Others said he carried a secret gene from an extinct godlike race. The truth, Zyra knew, was far simpler, yet far more dangerous. One morning, a convoy from the Galactic Council arrived at her ship. The lead envoy, a tall blue-skinned ambassador, greeted her with polite formality, and then asked to meet Jack. "We have heard unusual reports," the ambassador said. "If even half of them are true, humanity possesses a trait that must be recognized as galactically significant." Zyra felt a chill. Recognition meant attention, and attention meant danger. She tried to stall, but Jack stepped forward with his usual grin. "Why not? Let's hear what they have to say." Inside the council chamber aboard the envoy's ship, a vote was held. By unanimous decision, humans were declared a desirable strategic species, a title that guaranteed their protection, but also ensured they would be sought after by countless worlds. When the meeting ended, Jack and Zyra walked back to their quarters. "Congratulations," she said quietly. "You're officially the most wanted man in the galaxy, in more ways than one." Jack chuckled. "Guess I should feel honored." But Zyra wasn't laughing. She knew this was just the beginning. The protection of the council might keep pirates away for now, but it wouldn't stop the wealthiest and most powerful from making offers or demands. That night, as the ship drifted among the stars, Zyra made her choice. She approached Jack and handed him a small black card, an access key to her private transport craft. "If things ever get too dangerous," she said, "you take this ship and disappear. Don't look back. Don't come for me. Just survive." Jack took the card but didn't pocket it. Instead, he pressed it back into her hand. Doc, you're stuck with me. If I run, we run together. Deal? She wanted to argue. She wanted to tell him that staying close to him was a risk she couldn't afford. But instead, she found herself nodding. Somewhere in the galaxy, Karath was still out there, planning his next move. Other forces were surely watching, waiting for the right moment. But for now, Jack and Zyra stood on the deck of her ship, watching the endless stars. He was a human. She was an alien doctor. And together they were about to find out just how far and how fast a legend could spread. The galaxy had questions, and Jack was ready to give them answers.